EAGLES, Eagles.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Monday morning edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. Good to be back in the saddle with all of you guys here on a Monday morning, fresh off a rookie minicamp for the Philadelphia Eagles. Johnny Mac, how you doing this Monday morning, my friend?
Doing well. Just trying to recover from Eagles rookie camp. Little Game 7 Sixers action. Now it's Game 1. Back to football. AJ's back.
There you go.
Alexander James Krause.
Little AJ's back in action. I'm like, what is
AJ's still an Eagle, though. AJ's still an Eagle. He was at his youth football camp in Allentown. Big Allentown presence for the Eagles over the weekend. Devontae had a celebrity softball game, which is earlier. He usually does it after minicamp. Now it was before OTA start. And there was some thought that AJ would show up to that. He didn't, because his football camp was the next day, and he was there, and he, was wearing the green, and his son was leading an Eagles chant, and he said, "No matter what you hear, I love you all." But he didn't talk to the media present.
I did hear that. What was the McMullen takeaway from that comment?
My takeaway is nothing's changed, and he promised to do a football camp, and he did a football camp.
Yeah, good for him, following through on his word. We'll see what ends up happening. John, has there been any update since Wednesday evening when I departed Eagle Land? I haven't been that long off from Eagle Land in a long time, my friend. Any update on AJ as we open the show talking about him? No, right?
No, I think that was, the people who want to believe are holding on because, he showed up and he was happy and in green, like I said, and Eagles chant, yada, yada. But no, nothing substantive.
Well, what was substantive, John, was the Eagles rookie minicamp. Obviously, you got a chance to see all the rookies in person. John, I did see this. I was surprised to see this. Most of the rookies signed already. Now, I understand you used to always say, I don't know why people get
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why.
But still,
they do.
6 of them get the deal done already. I think that's pretty good. 6 of them signed up, which is good. Mekhi Lemons rocking jersey number 9 with the Birds. You got the approval from Nick Foles. I saw that. John, how was rookie minicamp, my friend?
Yeah, rookie minicamp is what it is. Bunch of tryout players, the vast majority, 30 different tryout players, and I think there were 16 rookies or undrafted free agents, draft picks and undrafted free agents, and then 2 guys were allowed to participate because they didn't play the crux level of games last year and spent most of the season on the practice squad. Holland Pierce and Gabe Hall. So that was the notable aspect. People get excited by the numbers. You mentioned number 9, Cole Payton, interesting, number 10. Now that is interesting because Braden Mann is number 10. So you're like, what's going on there? Maybe Cole Payton, but I would hardly think the 4th-string quarterback is got enough juice to take a number away from Braden Mann. So that's something to keep an eye on. 11 might be available soon. I doubt they'd give it out.
Wait a second. You're telling me Braden Mann, who just got a big old contract, got his number stripped by Cole Payton?
Well, it's rookie camp, so he's not there.
Right. So it might not be taken yet. We don't know.
No, but for all the number people, it probably shouldn't have mentioned. Cole Wisniewski got Sidney Brown's 21. I did think it was interesting. 2 of the tryout players were running backs, Elijah Mitchell and Khalil Herbert. I thought that was a little bit interesting that maybe they're not comfortable with the depth there. We'll see how that develops this week. If they generally sign 1 or 2 of the tryout players, we'll see if that comes to pass. But if you think about the type of player Mitchell and particularly Herbert have been, a little bit of a maybe third down aspect to it, which would be what they were looking for, depending on pass pro. That's the big thing. But like I said, with Herbert early in his career, before some of the injuries took over, he was a pretty good third down back. So that was interesting. And they also had, got to look up the name. They also had offensive lineman, veteran offensive lineman. Oh, Michael Jordan. Yeah. By the way, they had Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas in rookie camp.
That's unbelievable.
So, Jordan has, about a 5-year vet. Isaiah Thomas is a edge rusher. So, interesting with the NBA play. I got to believe somebody in the scouting department got a little chuckle out of that. Get Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas in.
Yeah.
But yeah, part of the process, onboarding, as I say, more than anything else. But we only get to watch about 20 minutes of rookie camp, and we got to see Shawn Manion though. So, I wrote about him over at SI. Still haven't talked to him yet, but you get to see he's on the field working with Cole Payton, and see little things like that. Gerard Johnson was throwing the football to the receivers, old quarterback, senior offensive assistant. And I don't know.
How did Lemon look? And I'd say that obviously you don't see much, but I remember this, John. I remember when the Eagles were in receiver hell and they drafted Devontae Smith. And one of the first things you said on this program with Jody Mack at the time was, I haven't seen much yet, but that dude looks like a real receiver, that we haven't seen. How did Mekhi Lemon look, John, his first time suited up in Eagle Green to you?
Well, I think the contrast was so drastic with Devontae. He went from such a average group of receivers to the guy who just stood out. So I think the past couple of years I've been watching Devontae and AJ, so it doesn't stand out as me.
It's like it's like when you get in a hot tub after being in an ice pool, it feels hotter, right?
But yeah, very smooth. It's evident, his movement skills are pretty elite. Short area, specifically why he's so effective in the slot. So yeah, I think he's going to be a good player, but that'll be interesting for all those holding on to the AJ hope, because again, he showed up in green and his son gave the Eagles chant. I mean, what do you think of that pick if AJ's back? I don't like that pick as much. So it's a weird, but I don't think he's going to be back.
What do you mean his back?
Is back.
Oh, AJ Brown is back? No, he's not coming back, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean.
But you have all these people. I'm saying, for all the people hoping, I'm saying, well, then why'd you draft Mekhi Lemon? So you don't view that like the edge rusher, where if AJ comes back, it all falls into place. Devontae stays perfect at a number 2. Mekhi Lemon is your new slot for Jalen to spread the ball around in the new offense. It doesn't all fall into place, Johnny Mac. No, we've already seen that. And Dallas and Saquon. And now you got to throw Eli Stowers in the mix.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it doesn't compute from a lot of levels, but yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I was just a cautionary tale for the people, still holding out hope.
I don't know how many of them are left. I haven't been in the mix, so maybe.
Oh, they're out there.
Yeah, I got one on my X. I remember some guy.
Yeah, I had a bunch of them. Although Eagles fans, I did a wrestling article over the weekend, so all hell broke loose. The one thing when I write about wrestling, it makes me, hey, you know what? Eagles fans aren't that bad.
Yeah, wrestling fans, I'm sure, are crazy. No doubt about that. What did you write about Manion, John? I know it's probably so hard to tell. I mean, you're watching a guy coach up some guys. It's not easy, I'm sure, to get much takeaways, but there is a lot of excitement on Shawn Manion, or at least a lot of anticipation, whether that be positive or negative. What did you take away from what you saw from Shawn Manion?
Well, like I said, you're not going to garner anything from assistant coaches or even coordinators, but through practice. But all you can do is talk to other people that we did talk to. So, basically every skill position guy we got, somebody, including me, asked a question about Shawn Manion. So everybody talked glowingly, as would be expected. Starting with starting with Nick Sirianni, but also Mekhi Lemon. Eli Stowers was probably the most effusive, and he was like, let me get the Eli quote. He's a really smart mind, the rookie. I can tell that it's going to be a really good scheme and that we're going to be able to make some really good plays, and our offense is going to be powerful because of him. So that's probably the nicest quote. I don't know if he can make that assessment after one rookie camp practice. And we talked to him before, by the way, not after. But everybody had nice things to say about him. What stands out most is how tall he is. He's 6'6". He's just a big, lanky guy.
Yeah.
And obviously, he was a long-time backup quarterback in this league, so he's got a firm grasp of that position, and obviously, working under Sean McVay, working under Kevin O'Connell, working under Matt LaFleur. He's got expertise in the kind of scheme they want to run, so that's why he's here. But you're also coming off a year where everybody blamed the offensive struggles unfairly, but everybody blamed them on Kevin Patullo, and everybody put the onus on, well, he's a first-time play caller. So, I mean, if you think about it, if you go back to the offensive coordinator search, the whole narrative when it began was, well, you need experience as a play caller. Mike McDaniel specifically, Brian Daboll specifically. And they had other options and went different directions for whatever reason. And all of a sudden it became, all right, let's just get the best guy we can find. And they believe that to be Shawn Manion. And all of a sudden, first-time play caller isn't a problem now. So, I mean, all we're going to see on Shawn Manion. Give him a chance.
I just hope they're patient with him. I mean, just like you got to be patient. We just talked about Mekhi Lemon. You got to be patient with a rookie player, right? Rookie players don't come into the league. Shawn Manion is a rookie offensive coordinator, man. I would hope that this team has a little bit more patience. Now, I understand where fans are in a mode where they want to win, but I'm more talking about the Eagles front office here, where, all right, you've made this decision now to allow this to happen. John, you've talked about this a ton. I mean, let's let him develop and grow as a coach, or else why do we even go this route to begin with? It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, there's two ways to look at it. Their way, I think, is more of, well, they thought he was the best candidate of what was, the pool available to them, ended up being the pool available. And to your point, I'm with you on the patience aspect, but I also understand the Eagles' thought process of maybe that's not realistic, because if they do succeed, he's gonna be gone very quickly. Right. If they don't succeed, that's the problem is patience only comes into it when you don't succeed. And are you going to be able to have like a poor season by Eagles standards and bring him back? Especially if the offense is at the crux. And if we all think the defense is as good as the defense looks, and the offense is the problem again, and by that point, remember, you would be not only bringing him back, you'd also be revamping a lot of the offense. presumably AJ's out. Then by next year, it might be Dallas. It might be Lane. It might be, don't think it would be Jalen that quickly. It could be Saquon. You could have a lot of big names exit in the building. And obviously, you're not going to replace those big names with other big names with similar reputations. And so you're not only preaching patience, you're preaching patience with a guy who failed with that group.
Yeah, right.
And then would have to rebuild with a new group where maybe, Mekhi Lemon's a star and Devontae Smith and maybe a new running back and Eli Stowers. So it's easier said than done.
Yeah, no, I guess it is. And it's also not a win-win situation for the Eagles, like you just pointed out. If they fall flat, he's probably going to be gone. And if he succeeds, he's probably going to be gone. So it's interesting to see. John, I saw this on Cole Wisniewski. I'm going to have to keep coming back to Cole because I already feel like my initial reaction to Wisniewski is aging poorly. If I was a bigger name, maybe I would get freezing cold taked. We'll see how Cole Wisniewski's career.
Yeah, I don't think Cole's going to reach that bar.
No, you don't think so?
No.
You don't think so? I saw this quote from him though. He in regards to Vic Fangio's system, and this was on Eagles Blitz from Tommy Lawler. He's one of the godfathers of the too high and shell system, and I've played in the shell system for my entire college career. Looking forward to the next level. I thought Vic Fangio's system would be a really good system for me, and so being able to come to the source is awesome. So that's there's Cole Wisniewski, John, a quote in there. He's going to play in this system. So maybe that was a little bit of a Vic Fangio 7th round pick. Did they give Vic Fangio a bone and say, all right, Vic, you got a 7th rounder that you want here in round number 7?
I don't think the Eagles, they just don't operate that way, and I wouldn't think Vic would think a 7th round pick is a bone, but
yeah, it's true.
I'm sure he likes the player. To the point about the system, everybody uses the damn system. It's like, and Cole, I don't know if Tommy had the whole quote, but part of the quote was, he played in the shell system my entire college career, which was at North Dakota State mainly, then Texas Tech his last year. And we had trickled down all across the country. It's like everybody runs it. That's why Vic's big. And in the NFL, there's obviously a bunch of copycats. So, it's not rare. That's sort of the modern version of defensive football. And he is the godfather. I wouldn't say one of the godfathers. He is the godfather. So it's like, you get excited. Remember when Moro Jomo called out the play in Green Bay?
Yeah.
And we're all excited. And we asked Moro about it. And then we asked Vic about it. And Vic's like, yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of my reaction to that. It's like, well, you're going to draft a bunch of guys from Vic Fangio systems because that's all they play at the college level, basically.
Right. Yeah, so it's not as exciting as I thought it was. John, what's the update on the rest of that defense, man? I know you only saw rookies here, but the safety was a big conversation when I was going away here, and I was wondering if there's any update on safety. If you're hearing anything about potential names the Eagles could target, will they sit tight and hang around with Marcus Epps? Maybe Cole Wisniewski, who we just talked about. They look for a veteran. Will they look for a cheap guy, a trade? How do you think the Eagles will play this? Because it is still early. It's way too early to say this is going to be what the roster is, obviously, when we get to September. But I do wonder how much more, spending they will do, for lack of a better word there. Spending could be trade, could be draft capital, could be whatever, to acquire a safety in this defense. What are you hearing, John?
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to make a move at some point. Now, when that comes, more likely after June 1st than anything, for a couple of reasons. One, if you're talking about a veteran player, it's okay to look at what you have at OTAs. There's no need and probably would be, disadvantageous for a veteran because sometimes you got to move your family and that. better to give them time instead of hurry and things of that nature. So there's some real world issues. Plus, veteran guys generally don't care that much about OTAs. So, sometimes the goal is like you see some of these veteran players still out there. You see a little bit of a third wave of free agency after the draft, and then you see it after June 1st. A lot of guys want to wait till after mini camps are over because they don't want to deal with the offseason stuff. And they'll sign either after mini camp ends or before training camp begins. But for safety, I think, the most likely scenario is the CJ Gardner-Johnson scenario. And that was you identify a person who you think who has upside on the final year of his rookie deal. Maybe his current team says, we're not going to re-sign this guy, so let's get something for him. And you pull off that kind of maneuver. Now, that's easier said than done, and it generally doesn't end up like CJ ended up in 2022 from a success standpoint. So it's no guarantee, but I do think they're going to bring in a body or two at safety, and it'll probably happen after off-season work. Could be even training camp. Sometimes you go through training camp and you got some other teams have depth at safety and they say, all right, well, we have an extra safety. You have an extra whatever. It happened last year with Thomas Booker and Jacorian Bennett.
Yeah, which was ultimately a bad trade, by the way, but I digress.
But that's sort of how it happens, and I think how it will happen. So, right now it's Michael Carter, Marcus Epps, and they're probably not comfortable with that.
I don't feel horrible about that group. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be world beaters, but I'm saying when you have the level of defense that they have, they're surrounded by Cooper and Quinion. I think Woolen was a worthy upgrade on the second corner spot. You obviously have the addition of Grenard now on the defensive line. You have good linebackers with Campbell and Bond. I feel okay about Epps and Carter. Now, maybe the Eagles don't, and I'm not saying that it's a home run, but you're not – sometimes I think people get into the mode of like, you're going to have an all-star at every position.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you can't do it. There's 11 defenders on the field,
So what happened is, like, this year's Adoree Jackson is now the safety, either Marcus Epps or Michael Carter.
Right.
So, I mean, you got an upgrade with Reek Woolen. On paper could be very good from a fit standpoint. We'll see how it works out, but and to your point, now you have Jonathan Grenard. So if you think about your 5 starters up front, and that's because you use the variable front. So I use 5. So you have Grenard, you have Nolan Smith or Alex Hunt. So you have good depth as well on the edge. And inside you have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Joma. That's pretty good. Cornerbacks, Quinyon Mitchell, Reek Woolen outside, Cooper DeJean inside. That's the best trio of cornerbacks in the NFL on paper. Linebacker, you have Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell, all pro level player, guy with a huge ceiling. In safety, you have Makuba, who showed some nice signs as a coverage player, and as I said, Epps / Michael Carter. I mean, that's pretty freaking good on paper. So yeah, if you gotta make do at one position, you gotta make do at one position. You should be able to make do at one position.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think it's the worst set. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I think Epps has done a pretty good job. I thought he was good last year when he came in. I don't think that's as bad as people are making it out to be. I think people are talking about safety like it's this gaping hole. I mean, it's not maybe as locked in as some other positions, but I don't feel like it's in an awful spot, John, at all.
Well, I think the people who are in that camp probably don't think that much of Makuba. I thought he was pretty good as a rookie. So
it's just health. I mean, on him, I think that's the only real question for me.
Yeah, a little bit worried about how he'll hold up from just because he plays so physically, but He's so small, but
he was solid last year's rookie year, wasn't he? I mean, when he was out there, I don't remember him being a big sore spot for the defense, getting cooked as a rookie. I don't at least. I know
there were a couple times Vic called him out for blowing coverage, but that's a rookie. I mean, what do people expect? And Vic's a tough grader, man. So yeah, I think I don't have that many concerns over Drew Makuba heading into his second year. I think it's a pretty solid upside there.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Johnny Mac. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Everybody was on the field for the first time this weekend together, so that was pretty cool to see. John, when were you? How long? Or just give me the rundown. I wasn't in the mix. How long were you down there? I guess were you down there both Saturday and Sunday? Was it Friday, or was it Friday and Saturday? I believe it was.
Thursday and Friday, and we were down there to talk to a bunch of rookies on Thursday. Friday, we got our short view of rookie camp, and they had that continued on Saturday, which was not open to the media. There was nothing yesterday. So 2-day rookie camp, and they'll probably evaluate the stuff. You might see a tryout signing. Keep an eye on Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas.
They need some better in depth in the interior of the offensive line. He started like 45 something games in the NFL, so might give him some better in depth. And the hope is like guys like Drew Kendall step up and become a viable. And I think he will as a center. The question with Drew Kendall is, can he be an interior backup and play center in both guards? Or do you have to have a backup center and a backup guard, which you don't necessarily want?
How do you feel about that for him?
Yeah, I think he can do it. I mean, it took Brett Toth a while. He did it tremendously last year. Unfortunately, moved on. San Francisco.
You liked Kendall coming out. I remember you liked him when they drafted him.
Yeah, very smart.
Yeah.
Cerebral. His dad was very good. He's got it's a bloodline league, they say, genetics league. His Pete Kendall was a very good offensive lineman for over a decade. So he's had like top tier coaching from, when he was a child. And the best thing at Boston College, he was just a center. That's the problem. Now it's good and it's bad. I think he's a natural center. So I have no question that he can play center. The question is, can he play guard if he needs to as the interior game day backup? That's the only question.
That'd be interesting to see. All right, John, we got one super chat. Then we got the legendary Jeff Kerr coming up. Jeff, good to talk to you. I can't wait to talk to Jeff.
Jeff was here Friday, too, second edition.
That's pretty good. All right, so we got Theo Bear. What's up, Theo? Thanks for the $10 super chat, my guy. I appreciate it. He said, Zander, May is Mental Awareness Month. Don't be ashamed to talk to someone. Also, by the comments in the chat the last few months, some should receive this message. I have no idea what Theo Bear is referring to here.
Well, I got a bunch of mental health awareness recommendations to make after yesterday. But
I talked to John. John is my someone I talk to. I do it here publicly every day for you guys, 8 to 10 a.m.
Yeah, my mental health issues are in public every day.
Right. Good stuff, Theo. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. We'll see what everybody thinks coming in. John, I got to ask you real quick, and we'll go to Kerr coming up after this, but boy, the Sixers won Game 7. I know you mentioned.
How about that?
The show.
You're 76ers. Play the song. Do we have the song?
I don't have the damn song, and I'm not playing the damn song. But it is pretty impressive for them that they got the win over Boston in Game 7. Joel Embiid's back stirring things up. My cousin, where I was away with my cousin. My cousin's a big. He's like, I don't get why Philly fans are so hard on Joel Embiid. So he gets hurt. What do you want him to do? He gets hurt. I'm like, all right.
I would say to your cousin, the vast majority of Philly fans made excuses for this guy for years and years and years and years. Right. Only very recently did they kind of pull the plug. And I'm glad that he's coming back. And, he looked like he got banged up at the end of that game again. I don't know how long it's going to last, but He is playing well.
Yeah.
They didn't have Tatum in Game 7, so that helped. You got to be honest about that.
Yep.
The one thing about the Knicks series, though, is be careful because the Knicks can rebound, and the Sixers are a very poor rebounding team. You're going to see Josh Hart get a record for offensive rebounds in a
When's
series.
that game one tonight? Is that game one tonight?
Yeah. They better figure out something.
Yeah.
It's got to be Paul George, I guess.
Good stuff. Let's see if the Sixers make it out of that. How funny would that be? They make it out of the second round in an unlikely year. That would be pretty good. All right, good stuff. Let's go to Jeff Kerr, who's set to join us here on Birds 365 this morning. He joins us right now. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr PHL. Read all his work at si.com/NFL/Eagles alongside John McMullen. Jeff, great to see you on this Monday morning. How you doing, my friend?
I see you guys talk about the Sixers and Knicks. I might have to log off Twitter for 2 weeks because that is the most annoying fan base rivalry of all time.
Really?
Knicks fans are the absolute worst, and Sixers fans aren't too far behind them. They just don't shut up.
Wow, Jeff coming in with
coming in hot. Now, here's the thing: Knicks fans usually take over whatever the hell. What's the name of the arena now?
It is now the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Thank you.
The
Exmo.
The fifth thing.
The Exmo.
Oh, I like Exmo. Is that out there?
There's a big X in the front.
Yeah, the Exmo. Yeah, they generally take over. Which, hey, that's Sixers fans' fault. I mean, New York.
Well, my favorite is I've been a season ticket holder for 10 years, and I try to tell people this. Stop blaming season ticket holders for selling playoff tickets when you don't buy those tickets in the regular season that we're paying $50 for. You're paying 10 for our 50. So when we're trying to make money in the playoffs, come on. And I go to the playoff games.
Look. Hey, Madison Square Garden is going to be sold out. Now,
it is.
Look, and you're going to have Celebrity Row and all that bullshit, but you know, and it's a bigger city and all that. And they've only been good for there was a long stretch there between Ewing and this current group where they were a bad team. So, true. During those years, it wasn't great either. But yeah, I mean, New Yorkers are New Yorkers. When their teams are good, they never shut the hell up. But I don't think fans are that much different anywhere.
I don't either. It's just you see more of the annoyance. I just I don't say anything to Knicks fans unless I'm at the game. And I actually said something 2 years ago because there were a bunch of Knicks fans surrounding me. And luckily I had the security guard who knew me really well. So I could probably.
You had some backup.
Yeah, I have my backup. And I said, what have you guys accomplished that the Sixers haven't? And they had nothing. I'm like, shut up and watch the game. That's what I'm doing.
That's me on remotes. Colin Thompson would be my security guard. Colin.
Yeah. And the security guard is cracking up because he's like, I got his back. I don't know you people. So they kept their mouth shut the rest of the game, and I got to enjoy the game in peace. The Sixers lost, but I got to enjoy the game in peace.
Well, we'll see what they do tonight in this series versus the Knicks. They beat the Celtics in Game 7. Pretty good stuff for the Philadelphia 76ers for those who are fans. Jeff, the big news in Eagle Land is the rookie minicamp, man. You were down there. You were working on it. I was reading a lot of your articles, doing a great job over there at SI per usual. Jeff, what were some of your takeaways, initial takeaways from the Eagles rookie minicamp? Seeing them out on the field, you got Shawn Manion, you got Mekhi Lemon, you got Eli Stowers, you got Uar Bernard. Maybe you saw them from 100 yards away. What were some of your takeaways, Jeff?
Well, I wasn't down there. John was down there. I had some family things to handle this weekend. But, yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, it's guys in shells and shorts, and we have to get excited for it.
Yeah, rookie camp is kind of just like a necessary evil, I guess. You try to onboard the guys as quickly as possible.
A lot of teams are having it this
yeah,
week.
you can have it this weekend. You got to have it those first 2 weeks after the draft. So you can do it the first week like the Eagles did, or the second weekend. Yeah, a lot of teams are doing it the second weekend. Eagles got a lot of tryout players in. Maybe that's the reason they did it. 30, I believe I counted 30 different tryout players. Now, vast majority of them are going to mean nothing, but you will see, like, when somebody gets hurt and they'll bring somebody, though they will have been at rookie camp. So you get
I thought
to
it was
build up.
interesting. Khalil Herbert was there. By the way, I
Herbert was
noticed
there.
I
And
noticed he was-
Elijah Mitchell. They had
Yeah, and
2
Elijah
veteran
Mitchell.
running backs.
I'm curious on this one, John. If I counted right, I got to count again. If I counted 88 roster spots, so there's 2 open.
Yeah, they
I could be
still
wrong.
have. Let me double check. Yeah, I know they still have a couple open, and I could just go to these tryout players. They usually sign 1 or 2, and I think they might bring in one of the veterans.
Nick Sirianni says every year, don't miss on Adam Thielen.
Yeah, he didn't say it this year. I was hoping he said. I asked him that question.
Yeah, you kind of set it up for him, and he didn't say it.
Well, I asked him the question what he said, Adam Thielen, so he's probably on to me.
But you even worded it like I know you talk about this, or I know I ask you this every year, and I kind of cracked up.
Yeah, 87, and 1 exemption. So they have the IPP.
Yeah, so that's
exemption.
the 88. Yeah, so technically they can sign 3.
So they could sign 3. Well,
Michael Jordan, come on down.
I don't know. Let me see a Brandon Graham. Yeah, he counts because Brandon's on the roster till June 1st. It just for.
I actually put him on my
purposes.
off-season Eagles list, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Technically, he's still the team, but I said, well, he won't become June 1st, so they gotta figure that out.
Yeah,
but
they gotta figure that out. But he's going to be here till June 1st at least. So they have a little bit of room to bring in a player or 2. You mentioned the running backs. I think Michael Jordan might be one. Veteran offensive lineman.
They need a card in the worst way. They need to find somebody.
How about they had Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas at Eagles rookie camp? I thought that was great. I was looking for Larry Bird.
Well, apparently A.J. Brown was there, but we don't have pictures.
Yeah, apparently stopped by. I did not see his car in his normal parking spots.
Was the spot empty?
My assumption is nobody, to my knowledge, saw him on the field. My assumption is he visited before we got into practice and was gone by the time we got there. But that I haven't talked to the Eagles.
I mean, the only explanation I can give if he's there or not is because he has football camp up in
Allentown. Yeah, that's why I stopped in. He was in town.
Also, maybe it's just me, and I just can't, as a reporter, go to a football camp with a bunch of kids and hope to get a quote from him.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff.
Especially 1 hour and a half away. There's certain guys who went and gals.
Well, I mean, like you got reporters, right? Oh, his 2-year-old son is singing Eagles chants. I'm like, all right, guys, that's not really a good thing.
Look, I'm not going to criticize those guys. Sometimes, Olivia was there, Reiner from the Inquirer. Sometimes she'll be ordered to go. Like,
I'm
sure some are ordered to go.
I'm not using his son doing an Eagles chant at 2 years
old.
No.
But I mean, if you're there, you're going to show it and
obviously
throw it up on social media, and
people engage on it because
grab
they
the
want to
baton and take it any way they want, which I'm very well aware of. So, you're not going to get much. That's why I wasn't trekking up to Allentown. Devontae had a celebrity softball game the day before. Now, you've been to that in the past.
This is the first year I missed it, believe it or not. Looked like everybody had a good time again. Last year was fun. Cooper DeJean won the home run derby.
Yeah, it's a cool event that Devontae's put together.
It's a lot of fun, and you get to talk to a lot of the players. Like,
I know Jalen Hurts was there, and he's interacting.
Jalen comes every year,
so that's pretty exciting.
Did Devontae make a comment about A.J. Brown of some sorts? I thought I saw that.
He basically said, from what I gathered, he pretty much said, look, if my job is to be the number 1 receiver, I can't really comment on what AJ's doing, but if my job is to be number 1 wide receiver, I'm going to go out and attack it. That's pretty much paraphrasing. But yeah, it was funny because he didn't really get a question about Brown till like 6 or 7 questions in, from what I was told.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they.
Well, that's you probably got a bunch of people afraid to ask the question.
Yeah.
Not that it was there, but that would be my guess.
It was funny when the years Ed and I have done it. We just go straight to football questions. Like Isaiah Rodgers last year, football. He's just cracking up. Like he's got Kenny Moore, same thing. Like Kenny Moore knew me from covering the league all these years, and he's just smiling. He's like, "You got a football question?" I'm like, "I do actually." So.
Well, what's the deal, guys? With the I'm now starting to see a new name get kicked around Eagle Land quite a bit, and it's Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback in.
Well, because he was at the game.
I know, and apparently everybody's getting all jacked up that he could be in the trade.
Oh my good Lord! Stop, people.
It was so my buddy. He does like a lot of PR stuff for athletes, and he does it for like Brandon Graham and. Julius Ertz, he does for a bunch of guys, and he don't care. He went up to Christian Gonzalez and said, "Hey, do you want to be an Eagle?" He's like, man, I'm a Patriot," and they just laughed about it. Like, and people just they take it's like what John says. They interpret how they want to interpret it.
They believe it or not, a lot of players are friends. Despite playing on different teams, and they'll help each other. You saw. Isaiah Rodgers comes back every year. He was at AJ's camp as well.
Yeah.
He was at both events. He's good friends with both. Yeah, I mean, players are friends and they help each other.
The Kobe Dean came back. I thought it was cool. He got loud.
By the way, Cooper and Reed have a couple football camps later this spring and summer together. All over the country, not just here. I think there might be one in Iowa.
Cooper's got a softball game in Iowa too. I think that's why he didn't come this year.
Yeah, I know him and Reed have a camp around Philly area. I think, don't they too?
Well, they have one in Baird, Delaware, I think, and they have a couple.
So maybe a little outside the city, but
I actually feel bad for AJ. You know that you're having this camp. You know that there are going to be people there that aren't there for the camp.
I don't feel bad for him. I think, but doesn't AJ kind of stay around? Like, I mean, you got to think. I know people think that the season ends and a lot of these athletes jet set somewhere, and they might. But AJ's like a family dude with kids. You know what I mean? Like when you have kids, I don't imagine you're just picking up and flying somewhere for 4 months. Your kids have friends and camps and school and all sorts of different things. Like I feel like AJ might be still local to the area in the offseason. I remember after the Super Bowl when he tweeted.
Well, he hasn't been around the facility until he came in for the Allentown thing. And generally, he's here the whole time. Involved.
He's been away a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, his main house is in Nashville. He lives in South Jersey. Interestingly enough, what to hear, but he's got another camp. I'm just looking it up. July 17th in Aston Township, Pennsylvania, wherever that is.
Yeah,
that's in Delco.
Yeah, it's pretty far out there.
Like probably around Sun Valley High School.
So he's got that. Now, typically right before camp, he would do one in Haddonfield. That one's not on the books. So I don't know if that means anything, but
how do you guys think AJ Brown will be remembered by Philadelphia fans? Because I've already seen, like, I understand where
he should be remembered for winning a championship here. Yeah,
I understand the immediacy of when he's leaving, and you as a fan, you're going to disenfranchise from him a little bit, start to hype up.
Have to though.
But I don't understand. Like I see fans out there like spitting on AJ. I'm like, God.
I hate it. Yeah.
Do you remember what this team was like at that position before he came here?
You know what drives me insane?
At receiver.
You know what drives me insane about that? Terrell Owens, and look, I like Terrell Owens. The guy literally sabotaged your season publicly, privately, tried to get the coach out, tried to get the quarterback out, basically did whatever he could to destroy them, and it almost worked. And you love him, but and you loved him at the time, but AJ Brown, okay, so he short arms a pass or two, or he's disengaged because he doesn't believe in the offense, and you want to destroy him because a content creator or two just puts out a clip of, oh, look at AJ Brown, look at his body language. Like,
well, I think multiple things can be true. I mean, you can be upset about that, which is fine, but
it's fine, but you don't have to
I don't like
say,
I don't like
he never
removing
cared.
everything else. It's like, dude, the guy did it. The guy did a lot for the team.
The day he gets traded, I'm going to put up a fun pic from the Super Bowl, and I hope fans actually see that he enjoyed winning a championship because I have that photo. So that's what I'm going to put out that day.
I'll be looking for it.
Yeah. I'm hard at work.
We're 28 days, boys, from June 1st. 28 days away.
It's going to be a long 28 days. This is the worst time of the year for the NFL, by the way. They try to make every irrelevant thing relevant.
Well, I guess that's a part. That's a part of the.
Or how about you just let baseball and football?
It works.
Baseball, and basketball, and hockey. Well, you know why? Because football fans are insane. They're like Star Wars fans at this point.
Saquon's got one June 6th in Harrisburg. If you're interested.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to that. I'm just gonna go shoot film.
It's also
he's bringing Barkley. You bringing Barkley. You're gonna get like
Barkley can come. Barkley can come.
Sign Barkley's bandana or something.
Barkley's down here. He's just chilling on the couch.
There you go.
There we go. He's all that Barkley's taken over the Haddonfield one, so maybe that's the thing. Anyway, there you go.
Is that Eagles run? The Haddonfield run? One is that?
No, AJ used to do a camp used to do a youth camp right before training camp because he lives around there, but it's not on the schedule this year, so I don't know if that says anything. But so people can take that baton where they want to, if they want to, or not. But yeah, now we're in that mode of OTAs coming up, which are more relevant, certainly.
Yes.
Now the Eagles, interestingly, Zach asked him that question every year. You talked about the question I asked Nick every year. That's what Zach asked Nick every year, which is basically you have 10 OTAs.
I wrote about that, yeah.
And up to 3 days of minicamp, and the Eagles never use them all.
They used 9 the last 2 years, and they went down to 8 this year. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so, to me, it's he kind of called himself. He said, that's what we think, which is as opposed to then he called himself and I think. But
I don't agree with it. But, hey, I'm not arguing.
Well, you would think this year, and that was Zach's point this year. You would think this year with Shawn Manion, hey, use them. And even if you're worried, and I'll give Zach credit for this because we were talking about it, Zach Berman, we were talking about it. He's like, all right, you have a bunch of veteran players. They don't have to practice every day. You got 90 guys.
Yeah.
So even if you're if you give them a bunch of rest days to make sure you manage them correctly, why not get the young people involved? And that sharpens all the new coaches and all that.
And you only open maybe 2 of these to the media anyway. So who's not there? It doesn't matter. It's voluntary.
Yeah. Only 2 OTAs. Minicamp's got to be open. So they're having 2 days of minicamp. Minicamp's got to be fully open.
Last year they only had 1 day, if I remember.
I think minicamp's got to be. Well, maybe they only had a 1-day minicamp. They've skipped minicamp, did they? I'm pretty sure.
No. I thought they had. I thought they had it. I thought they had minicamp.
I could be wrong. They change the rules all the time. But anyway, the minicamp practice has to be open full. I thought the entire minicamp. I could be wrong. Because generally they let us watch all OTAs as well, the full OTA practice. So it is, more relevance. And you'll get to see the Mackay Lemons of the world, the Eli Stowers. You get to see the little sort of first inclinations of the different things they're doing on offense. So it should be more exciting than usual, I would say. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, because you have skill position players as rookies, I mean, yeah, sure. Honestly, I think in this day and age, minicamp is more important for social media people because they want to see these guys in the uniform and they don't get to see them anymore. Like you don't get the training camp experience you used to. So basically any video John McMullen or Jeff Kerr or Ed Krause or whoever, Zach Berman, whoever shoots it, that's what you get, essentially.
By the way, can you just, all these people out there, just put where you got the stuff from?
Oh, it's annoying.
Yeah, it feels like those days are gone, John.
You know what? I have a buddy who has done it the right way with his videos, and he's getting upset people are doing it. He goes, well, if it's okay for them, why isn't it okay for me? And I said, I would just keep doing what you're doing, honestly. But I get it. Like, it sucks. Like, there are just sites, they don't care. And you know what's funny? One of those sites, I'll say this, one of those sites, I wonder what info you got that from. He was implying that I was taking it from him. I'm like, you don't want this fight, dude. You don't want that.
Yeah, it's, my problem is there's some people, like I saw somebody took like 3 of my pictures and just put them up.
Yeah.
Which is, bad enough, but the ones that bother me is you have a certain group of people. It's not a lot, but a certain group of people who take the stuff. By the way, before we can get in our cars to get home to do whatever we're going to do, or get to the media house, and then they sort of they sort of pretend that they were there and act, and people buy it.
Yeah. And it's funny. A couple of years ago, I recorded A.J. Brown. It was just like a one-on-one, me and him. And, I posted a clip of it. And when I get home, someone acted like I'm like, that's funny. I don't remember you being next to me. I actually think A.J. called him out on it. And I was like, wow, this is fast. Like, I literally got in the car and went home, and it takes me an hour to get home. And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
That's what I knew. Anyway, stop doing video.
That's my PSA for the day. And that's why I don't, I try not to do too much during practice. Because I'm paying fucking attention. One, you can't pay attention.
Yeah, it's hard to pay attention. There are certain people who don't pay attention at all during practice, by the way. I'll use my camera to actually zoom in to see if who's out or not, because you can't see on the far field.
Yeah. Are you guys allowed to use binoculars? You can bring binoculars and stuff, right?
Yeah, we can do that. But I just have my camera, I zoom, and I remember a couple times I'd stand next to Dave or Zach, and I'd be like, hey, by the way, that guy's not here.
Yeah, I gotta upgrade my phone. What is it about iPhones? I got a 14.
I have 12. I'm behind you.
Yeah, but it's weird, John. I mean, if you don't upgrade every year, it almost feels like they intentionally.
Yeah.
Especially the camera. I got one. I don't know, what is this, the 15 or the 14 or something?
I have a 12.
It's been a couple years since I've upgraded it, and I took a video on my brother's phone this week, and he's got the new one. I'm like, what? This looks nothing like my.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Did they purposefully downgrade the quality?
Maybe.
You know what's nuts for me? I always used to buy a new one every 3 years, and I bought my 12 Pro Max in 2020. I haven't got one since. I don't know why.
Ooh, that's old. Yeah.
Yeah, it is old, but I like it. I'm starting to get my parents. They have a 7.
Well, I got an upgrade. It's just one of those things where I got to go through the rigmarole. I make you go through, but yeah, I got to do that before training camp. But who knows? We're all dated.
I think the last time I got an iPhone, Best Buy had a deal with T-Mobile, and I don't think they do that anymore. I don't think they have a deal with T-Mobile anymore. So I might have to go to the Apple store, which is going to be problematic.
Jeff, you wrote a little bit last week about safety options if the Eagles wanted to fill that in. Talk to me about what you think they might do there at the safety position. Me and John talked about it a little bit in the opening segment. I get the sense that I think sometimes people want an all-star at every position. I don't think they're
and you can't have that. Yeah.
Right. I don't think they're as weak at that spot as some. That doesn't mean I think they're strong. What do you think their approach will be this offseason for the rest of the offseason to try and address that position, if at all?
I definitely think they'll kick the tires. Look, if they win the year of Andrew Kuba and Marcus Epps, I ain't complaining because I like Marcus Epps. I just don't think you're getting the Marcus Epps that you had 4 years ago. but knows the defense. He's fine, right? You're only paying $5 million for the entire safety position, which is by far the lowest in the league, by the way. But if you look at other positions, they're paying top dollar, premium dollar, right? So I'm more worried about the depth. Like, what happens if Marcus F gets hurt? Michael Carter, maybe Cooper. I assume Cooper's going to be a part of this. JT Gray, like, will he even make the team? That's what I'm concerned about. Like, I'm concerned about depth at safety and guard, and they might have found their guard depth in Michael Jordan for all we know. But I expect them at least.
Feels like the secondary is strong. I mean, you just said all those
names. It is, yeah.
You got Cooper, Quinion, you got Woolen. I know the safety's a little weaker, but I kind of look at that.
But you can afford to be weak. But you can afford to be weaker, though. That's right. That's the thing. Like to me, I feel like it's an all-season topic I have to talk about because everyone's like, they didn't really go safety. I'm like, well, they did. They drafted Cole Wisniewski, who could be a starter. It's just, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, is there a veteran available that maybe you can get for a year? Maybe they'll do that. I don't know. They've done it before. They did.
I'm just glad. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned earlier. I'm just glad that Justin Simmons retired.
Oh, jeez.
So I don't have to hear that again.
Oh, no, he can still come back. He'll be 50.
Well, that's true.
He can still come back.
That's true. That is true. He could come back. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm just.
How many Simmons articles did you see over the past 2 years? Boy, you could count that up.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm starting to run out of ideas for this all season. I'm going to need them to create some ideas.
Oh, here you go. Here's one. Buda Baker. That name.
I mentioned his name too. I don't think it's going to happen.
The big
Grant Delpit's a better player if you want to go in the wishing well.
Buda Baker's going to be cashing his Social Security checks, and people are going to say, "What about Buda Baker?"
Yeah, that's true.
He ain't going anywhere.
What about Buda? What about Buda Baker?
You remember when Larry Fitzgerald was like willed to the Eagles for like 10 years in a row?
I don't not remember as much Fitzgerald because that was kind of, he was.
That was before you, yeah.
Yeah,
that was a big thing. Like the Eagles are going to trade for Larry Fitzgerald, or Randy Moss was on the plane to Philly, and Belichick called him back. That was always my favorite.
I never heard that one either.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, that was before my time back. Yeah, there's a lot of goofy. The one that's true though is Ben McAdoo. He literally was driving down.
He was on the turnpike.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this team hired Ben McAdoo?
Oh gosh.
Hey, would have been better than Adam Gase. They wanted Adam Gase first.
Who did I hear just talking about Adam Gase on a podcast? Was it
Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, I was gonna say Le'Veon Bell's podcast. I remember hearing.
Yeah, he was like, I've never had
halfback dive. 2nd and 10, halfback dive.
Yeah, that was. Funny.
But by the way, I gotta give you guys credit. So, like, I have a couple of friends who listen to this whole show, and I'm like, wait a minute, you guys don't listen to bits and pieces of the show? And they're like, no, we listen to the whole thing. I'm like, oh, congrats.
We have a lot of those listeners. Hell yeah.
Yeah, people don't do that anymore. I'm impressed.
Yeah, we got a lot of them. We got a lot. Our average viewer watches for 40 plus minutes. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. Balance it out. Some people come for a little bit. A lot of people stay for the whole thing.
Or they listen to it later, which is cool too.
Yeah, obviously. Yep.
That's what I'm most prideful about this show is people tune in for a long period of time. So whether they love us or hate us, it's still they listen.
They tune in because they're waiting
Howard Stern taught me that, man. Doesn't matter. If somebody tunes in for 2 minutes, who gives a shit? They're listening for 40
What's
minutes.
the old Jack Sparrow saying? You are without a doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of, but you have heard of me.
There you go. That's a good saying right there. I like that.
There we go.
Yeah. 9 o'clock on what is it? Is today May 4th? Yeah, today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you, gentlemen.
Oh, is it May 4th? Damn, man.
Today's
we are moving in this offseason, boys. Yeah. We got a lot of 28 days out. I mentioned that from June 1.
Not that people care locally, but former Yankees broadcaster John Sterling passed away.
Oh, that's a big one.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's a really
How
big
old was
one.
John?
He was old. I'd have to look up.
I mean, he was doing it forever.
Yeah. So
We're losing
sad
these
news
great
there, but
broadcasters, guys.
yeah.
Stinks.
That's one of my dad's a Yankee fan. He used to walk around the house and after a Yankee game he'd go, "The Yankees win! The Yankees win!" So that's like embroidered into my brain is that saying.
He 87 years old, passed away, John Sterling.
It's a good life.
Once did 5,060 consecutive games called.
That's hard to do.
That is unbelievable.
Announced 8 World Series, 12-time Emmy Award winner. So he was a big deal.
You know what I think? I think generally, as we talk about John Sterling, I think play-by-play people should get more credit in the sports world. I think they do,
should, yeah.
But they make such a big difference on the experience of watching.
Zander, I feel like people don't like them when they're actually doing it, and then when they start to get toward the finish line or they're done, then they really miss them.
You know, like Jeff, you know who I miss? Because I'm sure I don't know how much of a hockey guy you are, but Doc Emmerich. I mean,
I love Doc Emmerich.
NHL playoffs when Doc Emmerich was calling them were so electric. I mean, I miss Doc Emmerich every time I watch NHL postseason.
I know people don't like him because of his political stuff. Man, I was always a Costas guy. I love Bob Costas when he called a game or when he hosted an event. And Tirico is basically Costas now. I love Tirico called the game.
People are so lame. Let me hate this guy because he just doesn't think about politics.
Yeah, he doesn't think the same way I do. Who cares? Like,
oh my gosh!
But
I didn't even know Costas was big into politics now.
Me neither, really.
But you know what my favorite Bob Costas interview is of all time? When he basically almost got Vince McMahon to chokehold him.
That was Armin Katayan, I think. Well, he was trying to intimidate. It was both of them. But
no, this is during the XFL when he's like, the product stinks. He basically told him to his face, the product stinks, which is awesome.
He was right.
Yeah, he was right. And Vince was like trying to save the XFL at the time, and he basically like just pointed at him.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's interesting because I went to Armin Katayan. He did that to Armin too. He's a lunatic. I've met Vince a few times. He's a lunatic.
Isn't that why he was successful? Because he was a lunatic?
Maybe. Also, locally, and I'm not a hockey guy. I mean, you go prior to Mike Emmerich, Gene Hart. I mean,
I love Gene Hart. I was like 9 when Gene Hart passed away, but
yeah, Gene is where I first heard the term alacrity. I like that. I still use it today.
I'm gonna miss.
I love that word.
I'm gonna miss Matt Cord when he's done doing the PA for the Sixers. This is
the thing about, and this is interesting because I know a lot of people grew up with Matt Cord before Matt Cord.
Dave Zinkoff.
Dave Zinkoff was a freaking legend. So that one was.
Sixers got lucky. They got 2 of them that were good.
Yeah, that's tough when you replace them. And most people don't even remember Dave's. But for those who were there. Like Matt Cord can't. That's just one you can't replace.
Yeah.
People are gonna miss Merrill Reese when.
Oh my gosh, that's always my next comment. People are gonna miss Merrill, man. He is phenomenal.
You know what's funny? I've talked to Merrill Reese about this a bunch of times. Merrill Reese used to do PA for my dad's Little League games in Pottstown, and he remembers it. That's nuts.
What's amazing about? I'll tell you what's amazing about Merrill. Who I don't know, for people who haven't seen Merrill. He's got to be 80 something at this stage.
He's in his 80s. Yeah, I think he's 84.
He's very small man, and still at 80 plus years old in a room full. When he's in one of the press conferences, his voice booms over all of us.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Nick, if I may, and I'm like. There it is. Let him go.
Yeah. Like to the point.
He's also very great. He's also a very nice person.
Oh yeah, he's very nice.
I love Merrill Reese. Yeah,
his voice is just. It's like he's got an amplifier. It's unbelievable.
Yep, made for play-by-play, no doubt. He will go. He will be remembered for a long time. Merrill Reese is a great voice of the.
I forget if the Eagles put him in their Wall of Fame or not. I think they did.
He should be. He's been. How long has he been the play-by-play for them?
Since 1978.
40 plus years.
Yeah, he did Sam Walters first for a lot of years, and And Mike Quick.
He got. I forget what the.
I think he got it.
Pro Football.
He's
Hall
in the
of
Pro
Fame.
Football. He's in the Pro Football Hall.
That's almost 50 years, boys. That's.
Yeah, he went into the
unreal.
Eagles Hall of Fame in 2016, and he went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as the Pete Rozelle Radio Television Award winner in 2024. I remember that was recent because I remember he had to lead camp to go out to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
which I've been to the Hall of Fame. That's very cool. The Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, so we went. I went a couple times to the enshrinement stuff and all that, and I went for Vermeil because my dad was a big Vermeil guy, and yeah, it was something like just seeing Dick up there, and he's just mentioning pretty much anybody that ever played for him, which was that Dick Vermeil to a T.
Yeah, anybody who likes football should go once or twice.
It's cool. Like they do a whole weekend like of events and stuff.
Yeah,
like
now they're expanding it, and they're they're putting other stuff around it.
Yeah, they have a parade on Hall of Fame Day. They have a big concert. Journey played the weekend. We went for Vermeil, so that was really neat.
Don't Stop Believing. Don't Stop Believing.
That was the last song they played. They played a lot of hits that night. No Steve Perry though. He's been done for a while.
Yeah. Well, is that really Journey then? I don't know.
Oh no, the guy that replaced Steve Perry sounds pretty much just.
Does he? All right.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, it felt like a Journey concert. I've seen Journey 3 times, and I've seen with this guy 3 times. I'm like, oh,
that seems like a tough voice to replicate. But
yeah, he can do it. Like I give him credit, and like he's very mobile, he's active, but I think Journey's done now. I don't think they're touring anymore.
No, I wouldn't know. Jeff, let me get it back to the Birds here. Defensively, what do you think their ceiling is this year, dude? I mean, I look at the defense, I'm like, they were good last year. Maybe the numbers, or the stats, or
their floor might be top 5, Zander. Like they've been a top 2 defense the last 2 years.
I know. I mean, they weren't ranked that high last year, but I always thought that the numbers were skewed a little bit because of the offensive. There's a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of time on the field for the defense. That's obviously going to skew numbers, but feels like they've improved at the edge with Grenard. I liked Phillips, but I don't know that he has the upside of Grenard.
Yeah, I think
feels
Grenard's
like Cooper and Quignon, another year of them, they're only getting better. It might be hard to get better from what they were, but they might get better.
You got Reek Woolen in that mix now.
Add Reek Woolen. You got the linebackers that's still a question mark because as much as I like Campbell, Nakobe Dean was a solid player, but Campbell was pretty good last year too. Feels like that defense has a chance to be one of the best in the league this year. Jeff, you think I'm overstating it?
No, not at all. So honestly, Zander, and I'm glad you mentioned Campbell. You can afford to let Dean go because you drafted Campbell and you believe Campbell can be this really good player. Look, they can line him up on the edge and rush him if they want. They're not going to do that now. I actually like their depth at linebacker. Like even Trotter's been a solid contributor for them. So. Look,
you got Smile Munden.
Yeah, Smile Munden's a good player. Yeah, he was a really good special teamer for them last year. What I like about their defense, and especially now that they got Grenard, they're deep at a lot of positions. They're deep at corner. They're deep at pass rusher. I mean, look, Arnold Ebiketie going to be your number 4 pass rusher. I felt bad calling him a loser after he was one of my losers. When I did Winners a Loser, he was one of the losers. I'm like, well, the only reason he's a loser because they traded for Grenard, and now he went from maybe having 50% snaps a game to 30. It's a lot of money to pay for a number 4 pass rusher.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is good depth.
It's really good depth. It's good depth at defensive tackle, too. Like, you can basically stash Uar Bernard on your team. He doesn't have to play.
No. Well, he's not playing. For those people who think he's playing right away. No,
he's not playing.
Put the over-under at 3 years. Will he play in one game in the next 3 years? Regular season game.
I actually wrote about this today, like what could be like the plan for him, and I'm like, I don't even expect this guy to do anything at all, like 2028 at the earliest.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately going to take the no.
The guy can't even get his helmet on yet.
I forget who you asked that. You asked that question to somebody else, and they kind of swayed me because I was no, but then I brought up.
I think it was BLG, John.
Was it BLG? So
I think it was BLG. He swayed you a little bit.
Yeah, because it's going to be probably one of those week 18 games where they're sitting all the start and they just throw them out there, see what they have. Maybe not this season, but 2027. and then sort of make the decision that, I don't think he's going to play a lot, but I think in that type of situation, if they don't have to play their starters in a Week 18 game, throw him out there, see what he can do. That's the only way I think it would happen. But if it's, plus or minus 1, I'm going to go push.
It's like it's like Big Tony in The Longest Yard. You guys know Big Tony in The Longest Yard? Joey, who is it? Joey Diaz? Is that who plays him?
Yeah. That's who it was.
Is that who played him?
Joey Diaz.
I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie
comedian.
in a long time.
He's a good stand-up. Was it Joey Diaz? I'm thinking.
Big Tony, yeah. Joey Diaz is Big Tony.
Just crushing yards.
We haven't talked about losing Alec Hallaby. Boy, this team loses a lot of freaking executives.
None of them seem
everybody
to go
wants them.
I know, but Jeff, I mean, I was saying this to John, and hey, maybe it will get to a point where it starts to impact, but I had the same concern last year. I'm like, man, how they're losing a lot of dudes, and boy, it just seems like Howie keeps operating at such a high level, though.
Remember when they lost Andrew Berry? We're like, oh, this is a big
That's what I mean. Andrew Berry, Catherine Raish at the time, now Catherine Hickman. There's a lot of people that have gone from this front office, and they just – Ian Cunningham is obviously now out. A lot of dudes, man, have left. A lot of people have left this front office.
Brandon Brown was part of this front office.
Yeah,
too.
Brandon Brown. Yeah, Andy Weidel.
Yeah.
Ian,
the whole week's gonna have Eagles people.
I mean, boys, we're at the point where some of the dudes who have left have now gone through their cycle.
John Spytek, he's gone too,
and they're returning. I mean, Joe Douglas is back here. He went on and had his GM run. I mean, it's like Howie's the constant. Howie's the common denominator.
It was so funny. So I go on with a bunch of guys in Vegas for Raiders radio about once or twice a year. And we usually go in the off season. And they asked me straight up, what do you think our chances are getting the Kobe Dean? I'm like, I bet they're very good. Just from all the Eagles brass they brought in. And I'm like, I wouldn't be shocked if Kobe Dean was a Raider. Yeah.
Brandon Hunt and Anthony Patch to the Raiders. Ian Cunningham, he's the guy who pilfered Bryce Johnston and Jeff Scott this year down in Atlanta. Yeah, it's all over, man.
That's right. Pash went there too. Like, I remember Hunt went there, but I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. They got Pash too. They've been there a year now.
Yeah. Did you guys see the videos that got put out of the draft day trade that they
I did see the Eagles one with
the Cowboys.
Cowboys are always from the Cowboys perspective, which was pretty simple. How he agreed to that pretty quickly. It's always interesting to see Jerry. This is Steven.
Well, was that the funny thing there was it always is talked about like how he's the deal maker. There he was the deal taker. He wasn't the deal maker there. He was the deal taker.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, we'll take it.
Well, I don't know if that. I mean, weren't they saying? I kind of looked at it quickly this morning, so I guess I got to look at it again. I thought, weren't they saying they were expecting Howie to call? Well, didn't they say that?
I think they were, yeah, but then they called him, so who knows? But
yeah, so
well, I guess maybe they knew.
I mean, he was trying to move up.
I mean, they could have been talking. They could have been talking a couple of days ago, for all we knew. Before.
Oh yeah, the foundation of that stuff is done the week leading up to the draft. It's not just you call somebody up on the day of. Well, sometimes you do later, but
I a lot of those tell people on draft day, in the movie Draft Day, that's not how it happens.
Well, that's fair to say, but. Yeah, from the standpoint, the foundation of those first round trades, you basically call teams before the GMs and they say, hey, it's, if your guy's not there or whatever, would you be willing to move off? And that's where the foundation is built. And then you just working on draft day. But he was trying to move up to 15 and 16. So, and the goal was always Lemon. So that I don't know if I knew that.
They went that high. You don't think they would have taken the tackle?
No, it was Lemon.
And you know what? I would have been okay. I
were gone.
I would have been okay if they would have traded up to 15 or 16 for Lemon, because basically the other guy they wanted, Proctor, was gone. So it's like, if you're not getting Vega, you're not getting Proctor. You really trading up for Blake Miller that high?
So, well, Freeling was the guy I wasn't sure
Freeling
about.
ain't like too, but again, you could have, just by the way the board played out. Feels like
I thought it was interesting they had Lemon over Freeling. I thought that was interesting.
You did need a wide receiver too, though. Bailey is in need of the long-term replacement for.
Well, they thought he was one of the 15 best players in the draft,
and that's
But they thought he was going to go like everybody else to the Rams. So
they kind of exposed themselves with Zach's question a couple weeks ago. Do you have 23 players on your big board? We're not going to answer that.
well, they don't. That's why.
Yeah, I know, but the truth always comes out.
Yeah. He wouldn't even go so far as to say 15, because he had mentioned Lemon was top 15. And I asked about 15 first round grades and said he has to check. Whatever.
So it might have been 12 or 13.
Yeah, because I mean, from their perspective, they're not taking a quarterback, right? So, so it's probably less.
I'll never forget when I was covering the Phillies game one time, and there was a new reporter there, and I felt bad for him because he asked Rob Thompson, "Yeah, who's available in your bullpen tonight?" And he's just like, "We just don't do that." I'm like, wow.
That's like when somebody comes here and asks about a contract. It's like, all right, let's waste 2 minutes. But hey, you got to learn on the job. Everybody's got to learn on the job. Not just
that's what I said. I'm like, I just said, like, I'm gonna ask him this next time you're here, and he did, and he got a good answer. So, kudos.
Everybody's got to learn.
I've asked some dumb questions before. I've gotten some dumb answers. I've asked some great questions and got some dumb answers.
Well, if you do this job long enough, you're going to ask a dumb question.
Oh, yeah. And anybody that picks on you for asking a dumb question, they are insecure with themselves, period. I'll call spade a spade, baby.
Who are you speaking of?
There's a couple. There's a couple people.
Well, some people have called me a bully, so I can't. I don't agree with it.
Yeah. You're a bully, John? I don't think so.
You gotta be.
I don't.
You're a curmudgeon. You might not be a bully.
I don't agree with it. In fact, I think I'm very helpful to the young people.
You are very helpful. John McMullen.
You got to teach them how to be a bully so they don't get walked on in the room.
Well, that's
it's true.
I mean, I'm not criticizing you at all. You got to be a bully in there. You want to get your questions in. I mean,
there's a media house joke that I want to share right now, and I'm not going to. But John knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Well, I don't even
over last year.
I don't even think about. I didn't even think I should have won, but Jimmy, the irreverent Jimmy Kempski did. Ranked face-off challenges, and I won. I was number one, which I don't think I should have been number one. But I said to Jimmy at the time, he said, well, everybody else thinks you should be number one. Well, a lot of people, not everybody. But and I said, well, that just says I'm the biggest asshole. That's not like an award.
That is an award.
That's such as life. If you're gonna be, Mr. Nice Guy every time, guess what? Life's not gonna be fair to you. They're gonna step all over you, walk all over you, and you'll be dirty at the bottom of the shoe.
As someone who is nice to a lot of people, everybody goes, "You're so nice." I'm like, that doesn't help me with anything. But
I like to say, I'll try and be kind. I can't guarantee I'll be nice.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good.
I am nice to people who are nice back. If you're not nice back, I'm
What's the other quote? Nice guys finish last, boys.
Yeah.
Well,
you definitely got to stand up. You definitely got to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, you got it, John. I agree 100%. Especially in a room like that.
You gotta stand. You gotta even stand with the bosses every once in a while. Be like, dude, this is unacceptable. Stop. Are you doing that? Well, no. Then don't ask me to do it.
I think the point remains in almost every facet.
Yeah.
But all right, what do you guys, Jeff? What do you think is the biggest weakness still on the Birds? I guess the safety spot would be.
I would say interior of the offensive line, to be honest with you, Zander.
Okay.
So I was doing the math, right? You got Drew Kendall, who's actually played regular season snaps, but not at guard. Tom Pierce has never played any regular season snaps at guard. Near is Willie Lampkin. Near is Micah Morris.
Willie
Lampkin
gets a training camp hero. That's my prediction. But go on.
Who's that?
Willie Lampkin.
Willie Lampkin. Well, that's Ed's boy. Hero. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
But the point remains, like, if Steen or Dickerson get hurt, all hands on deck.
Yeah, I mean, there's no obvious answer behind them at this point. But remember, they could always move Miles Hinton. They have so many young.
Yeah, we talked about this on Friday.
Yeah.
They have I actually think Miles Hinton could be the answer. I might write that today. Internal solutions at right guard.
Because I think everybody forgets. Like, to the point about safety, Zander and I was talking about veteran safeties. Like, at the time, CJ was a slot corner that they projected as a safety. So sometimes you have to think outside, and you look at the guys and you say, Drew Kendall, Willie Lampkin, even if you want to throw Jake Majors in there.
I would throw Jake Majors in there just for the heck of it. Why not?
Sometimes you got to think and say, well, could they kick Miles Hinton inside? Could they kick Cameron Williams? I don't think they would kick Cameron Williams inside.
I think
Holland Pierce
inside. Well, Holland Pierce, they have kicked inside essentially.
So they have a lot of bodies. I don't know if you're confident in any of those bodies. And adding Micah Morris is the one you add in the draft.
I think the preseason is going to be very telling to watch those guys.
Which is one reason I think Michael Jordan might be here.
And not
Michael Jordan.
That's going to trip me up.
Not NASCAR owner Michael Jordan either.
The Michael Jordan. I don't think Isaiah Thomas is going to be brought in now.
Who's a better? Yeah, well, I'm not even going to go that far. Michael Jordan's a better NASCAR owner than he was an NBA owner.
Definitely, he was not a very good NBA owner.
No, he was terrible. He was so bad as the president of basketball operations, he had to actually step in and help his team.
Well, that's more like a general manager role. Was he?
I know, but maybe. He wanted to be an owner, and he was the owner of the Bobcats / Hornets. It's not a good
partial owner. But
NASCAR's better for him. Here's all the money. I'm Michael Jordan. Here's all the money. I got.
Well, that's why you're a NASCAR guy. That's why isn't NASCAR? And by the way, I don't know anything about NASCAR, so isn't it just who has the best equipment?
Yeah, a lot of it. It's
like F1 Formula One's like that. Yeah,
a lot of racing, John. You got to have a lot of money, and money goes a long way. You get better cars.
So what are we talking about the drivers? I mean, I'm sure they're better drivers than me, but I mean,
I mean, if you're being honest, probably the most talented driver in NASCAR is Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson also wrecks by himself too. So he did yesterday anyway.
Yeah, drivers do make a difference, but it's to your point, John. If you don't have a good car, you're not doing much.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have the funding. And look, Michael Jordan, to his credit, Tyler Reddick was under contract with Richard Childress. Michael Jordan saw the talent, said, "Okay, this guy's overachieving in this equipment."
F1 is similar
what's he gonna do? Yeah, F1's like that. I mean, look, I think we can all agree Max Verstappen is the best driver in Formula One.
Max Verstappen, I think, is the best driver on planet Earth. I don't think there's a better driver on the planet than him. If you give him the same shit box as everybody else, he will beat the rest of them in that.
That's right. NASCAR fans are
that to me, that would be if everybody has the same shit box, then you could know who the best was.
Yeah, well, I think that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like NASCAR fans and drivers are like, hey Max, come over here. We'll give you good equipment.
I think most people would agree with that when it comes to, actual cars versus people, but the same thing in football.
Oh yeah.
Talent.
Like, why are you punishing Jalen Hurts for having A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Every quarterback in the world would take that.
There has never been a quarterback. I say this all the time. There's never been a quarterback who won a Super Bowl with a bad supporting cast.
Yeah, Kurt
I
Warner
don't
was
know.
the king of having great supporting cast. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Where are these teams? Where are these great quarterbacks that won with bad teams? They don't exist. They're made up in people's minds.
Bengals, they like to pretend the Bengals are a bad team. They weren't a bad team a couple years ago when they were going to the Super Bowl in the AFC Championship. They were a great team.
They had a
great
shaky
players.
offensive line, but yeah, they weren't a bad team.
No, like they were loaded in a lot of positions.
Yeah. So, and they didn't win, but it doesn't matter.
It's hard to win. I mean, look at the Rams are in it all the time. Oh, by the way, boys, I got another podcast to go on, so I'll have to bid you adieu. Yep, I got a dip.
All right. Jeff, thank you, brother. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining in. We will talk to you again next week, reading all your work at SI. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Man. There's Jeff Kerr joining us right here. Look at that. Good stuff from Jeff Kerr. Appreciate him doing it. Another show for Jeff. We appreciate him coming in today. John, a lot of excitement around this Eagles team still coming off of the NFL draft. A lot of new players here coming in. Feels like the Eagles are in a decent spot this offseason. I mean, I don't know how much they could have done everywhere, but it does feel like so far they've done pretty well. I thought they had a solid draft. And how would you grade, John, where they are this offseason? A lot of names lost, so I do think some people think it's been an underwhelming offseason for the Birds, where maybe the NFC East has gotten better. The other teams in the NFC East have gotten better. Where would you gauge it right now, J-Mac, as we are on May 4th today?
Well, it's interesting. I think if you talk about the draft, they got so many good grades, which I think draft grades are silly, coming obviously, but I realize why they're unnecessarily evil. But everybody gave, Howie this, Howie that, and Howie does a great job. Not trying to downplay that, but just from the standpoint of where the other teams started from, they got more talent in the draft. I mean, the New York Giants had 2 top 10 picks. They had 4 picks in the top 74.
Yeah.
The Cowboys had 2 first-round picks because of the Micah Parsons deal. And depending on, maybe they made a mistake with Malachi Lawrence, but I think they got the best defensive player in the draft and Caleb Downs at 11 overall. And then even Washington, which didn't have a lot of picks, but they had a top 10 pick. They got Sonny Styles at 7 overall. And, that's a guy, Ian Cummings, our buddy Ian Cummings, as the best player in the draft.
Still a little rich for an off-ball, though, no? I mean, he's a great player. So
yeah, I mean, I had him in that second, but that was the problem with this draft because the best players were running back, safety, linebacker.
Yeah, right.
All ball.
Howie kind of mentioned that too, didn't he?
He did mention it. So they were at non-traditional positions as far as what teams value most. But as you learn, how many times do I say on this show, Zander, is that the business of football doesn't always align with the game on the field. Like, who was more important to the Eagles' Super Bowl win than Saquon Barkley? How many times did he touch the football? How many yards did he have? And that's a devalued position because in the business part of it looks at, well, what is the shelf life going to be? How long are you going to have this player? Well, if Jeremiah Love touches it 480 times for the best team in football, he's going to be worth it. He's probably not going to, but you get my point. Same thing with all-ball linebacker. It's like, yeah, you don't value it, but then when you get one like Zach Baun in the Super Bowl season and you have an all-pro all-ball, that looked pretty good, didn't it? Impacting play. That guy made a play, I swear to God, every single, and I mean a splash play, every single game down the stretch, including the playoffs. Every single game. Just a dominant player. And then safety, I don't know. You get a safety like Kyle Hamilton, which some people have compared Caleb Downs, not from maybe a base talent perspective, but from a versatility perspective. It's pretty good. It's pretty impactful.
Do you have an early lean on who you think is going to control the NFC East this year?
Yeah, I still think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East, but I do think the other teams are getting better. And Dallas is still probably number 2, but the team, I think, going in the right direction, because I still have questions with, to say the least, about how Dallas runs things. The Giants are finally going in the right direction, unfortunately, because it's been a long time. But I do think John Harbaugh being there will settle them down. And they got Arvell Reese, Francis Mauigoa, Colton Hood, and Malachi Fields in the first 74. That's a lot of people had Hood going in the first round. I didn't necessarily like that. Obviously, Reese is probably the second best defensive player in the draft, or third, depending if you like Sonny Styles better. Mauigoa could arguably be the best offensive lineman or the second best. Now, they're going to earmark him to play guard, not tackle, so we'll see how that works out. You get a big-time corner. Fields is more of a contestant. I'm not in love with him, but, can certainly help. And John Harbaugh just knows what he's doing. Half the battle.
Right.
I see it with the Eagles every day. Howie just knows what he's doing. Doesn't mean he's going to get everything right, but he doesn't make bad decisions.
NFC East could be becoming a good division. John, last year you went off of, understandably so, you went off of history. All right, there was no repeat winners in the NFC East for quite a bit of time. You thought the Commanders might come out with the East last year. Has the change or the break in the pattern of history in the NFC East, has it altered your perspective coming in now that we have the Eagles as repeat champions? Could they go on and three-peat it, Johnny Mac?
Yeah, I think so. Sure. I still think they have the best team from top to bottom.
What's your concern on this offense?
I don't think it's going to be a good offense. It's going to range from, good would be 16-ish. Bad would be like last year. But I think they can get to 16-ish. A lot, I think you're going to have a lot of bounce back seasons, at least from where they were playing at last year. Probably have a oomph from a new system, a different voice. Like we've talked about everybody, but Phillies. Look at you. Really think Don Mattingly's doing a bunch of different stuff than Rob Thompson? No, he's a different voice, and people have said, "Oh shit, we're playing like shit," and all of a sudden they wake up and start winning some games. So I do think maybe that's a little bit of a boost. But I still look at it as a descending group as a whole. So, they started the turnover this year. I mean, the top 3 picks, offense. And Markel Bell's going to have to wait, but you go Mekhi Lemon, you go Eli Stowers. So you have, partial replacement for AJ, partial a replacement in theory for Dallas Goedert. And then even if you want to go down to, their first 5 picks were offensive players. If you go down to Cole Payton and Micah Morris on day 3, before they even took a defensive player. And then they finished with defense. Cole Wisniewski, Uar Bernard, and Keyshawn James Newby, all from 244 to 252, though. So, their first 5 picks are all offense. And Howie told you he was going to do that. Because they have to start repopulating that side of the board because guys are going to age out or the contracts are too expensive. And some guys are just not playing as well as they used to play. So that might be a little bit of a struggle. They're going to have to be carried by their defense again, I think. But I think their defense has got a potential to be top 5.
And where does that? I mean, I think you're right on the money with that analysis. Where does the offense have to get to? Is my question. Like, if they're carried by the defense, that's not a bad thing. It's a team game. You want to be whatever. If the defense has to carry the water more than the offense, so be it. But to me, the offense can't be.
No, they got to get a little better.
Yeah, they got to get. I mean, where do you think that has to be? Minimum. Is
first
it
down?
First down.
Well,
right?
really, it's got to be on first down, and it takes care of itself. But yeah, somewhere in the mid, 15, 16, somewhere in that range. But if they fix first down, everything falls into place, I think. But again, they're not going to be a high octane offense. They're just not.
What do you think their ceiling is?
As a team or as an offense?
No, as an offense.
Yeah, right, middle of the pack. I think. Well, ceiling probably a little bit better than that if you're talking about ceiling. If everything goes perfectly. And, Lane plays all 17 games and Cam Jurgens is healthy and Landon Dickerson as healthy as he can be. And Mekhi Lemon seizes the wide receiver 2 job relatively early. And Saquon has a bounce back year, not 2,000, but 1,600. That's probably your ceiling.
I think you're probably right on the money there. We'll see what ends up happening with it. Shawn Manion is in, 6'6". This dude apparently has a presence on the field. Maybe that'll be a good thing for the Eagles offensive coordinator. We will see. We got one super chat here. Philly Dom, what's up, my brother? Thank you, man, for the super chat. We appreciate you guys checking in. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I haven't talked to you guys since Wednesday. Good to be back on the show. Philly Don says, hey, John, after 2 days of rookie minicamp, what are your first impressions of the O-line coach, Chris Cooper?
Well, I don't get to see all 2 days. I get to see 20 minutes of the first day. So basically, all I get to see is individual drills. And he broke out the medicine ball and the big stick, which are different than what they've been doing with Jeff Stoutland. So a little bit different. There's only 6 guys there, I think, offensive linemen, most notably Markel Bell, Micah Morris. So I'm not going to make any grandiose decisions, but he does have a history with, Minnesota had some pretty good offensive tackles with Darisaw and Brian O'Neill. So hopefully he can help. My initial impression, which I said, is just, Chris played about a decade for the Broncos, just under 8 or 9 years. And he was a good offensive lineman. And my first is just how much bigger Markel Bell was than him. He was like a child next to Markel Bell who could block out the sun. That was my first impression, just how big Markel Bell is.
And he's bigger. If you're bigger than Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, you're pretty fucking big. So Markel Bell. So what was that? I guess that was your first impression of Markel Bell. Did he look like he could be a viable contender for a swing position spot this year, or not yet?
No, I definitely think he can be. I think that's the hope. You do have Fred Johnson.
Yeah, would they keep them both, or would they try and pick one?
I mean, at some point, it's, you probably only keep 10. They've kept 11 offensive linemen because of their depth in the past. More likely, you're going to keep 10 because they don't have as many proven commodities. So you have the 5 starters. You start doing it. Bell's going to make the team 6. They're probably not going to cut Micah Morris. That's 7. You got to have Drew Kendall. That's 8. And then everybody else is fighting for 2 or 3 spots. And you would think Fred would be in there, but some of the young guys step up. Miles Hinton, Cameron Williams, Holland Pierce, and then the interior guys, if they do bring in Michael Jordan, Willie Lampkin, they got a bunch of bodies, and they're all going to be fighting for 2 or 3 spots, most likely 2. So if Markel Bell proves he can handle it, or they think he can handle it, Fred might be in some trouble. But I do think because of the injury history of Lane that they'll keep them both. That's my early assessment. But no need to if you think Markel can do it.
Markel was left in college, left tackle, because obviously Francis Mariano was right tackle. Did he have any experience at right? I mean, sometimes some dudes can do it easily, switch. Some dudes struggle to switch sides. I don't know how Markel Bell would do, but at that size, you got to think you probably want him doing what he's used to doing, but I don't know how much experience he has at right, if he does have any.
Just wrote about Markel on SI, so people can check that out. But no, in his college career, he's played strictly left tackle, both at the junior college level in Miami. But he gave his offensive line coach at Miami a lot of credit because he always had him cross training at right tackle as well, just in case. So he says he's comfortable with it. Now he's been working with Duke Manyweather, who does the offensive line mastermind thing every year, personal sort of offensive line coach. And Duke, because he's a smart guy, knew most teams were going to look at him at right tackle. So since he graduated, he's been working nothing but right tackle because Duke was trying to turn him into a right tackle. And it's interesting, too, because Lane Johnson started offensive line masterminds with Duke, and they do it every year. And he already met Lane through that. So he's had a relationship with Lane for a couple years now, long before he even knew he'd be coming to the Eagles. So a lot of positive signs. And in Howie, the most positive is when he said this guy became a passion player for us. So I think he was one of those guys that if you look at early mock drafts, like a lot of people had this guy because he's raw, yada, yada. He's only got 1 year in Miami. And they said day 3 pick. And all of a sudden it started to become known that the NFL probably liked this guy better than the draft people. And all of a sudden, he started coming up the board, and I saw people putting him in the 2nd round. And he ended up early in the 3rd round. That was the Jets pick for when they drafted him. So very early in the 3rd round. I think he's got a huge ceiling, no pun intended, because he's a huge guy. But his wingspan is 7'3". Like he's like his arm length is so long. I can't even come up with a comparable arm length. So he's like a 7'3" guy out on the edge. And like I said, with a speed rush, even if you beat him, it's going to take you forever to get around him. Just because he's so big. Now, the negative of that is, the whole idea of offensive line, defensive line, low man wins, yada, yada, yada. And it's very hard to get your pad level low when you're that naturally tall. So that's something he's got to focus on. And but now everybody seems to be 6'6", 6'7", playing tackle in the NFL now. So he just happens to be 6'9.25". But yeah, I think
that's
a
big dude, Johnny.
Yeah, I think he's got a big upside. Big upside.
And you were high on him. You liked the pick when they made it. I remember you liked the pick.
Yeah, I put him in my mock, Eagles only mock. But yeah, I think it was a high value pick at that stage, especially when you don't get the offensive lineman in the 1st round. Obviously, it became, if they're not getting the offensive lineman in the first round, you thought they'd get it in the second round. They went in a different direction. And so to get that player in the third round, I thought was pretty good value.
Yep, no doubt about it. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these draft picks pan out for the Eagles this year. I don't know how many will play, John, but it does feel like our top 3 picks have a good chance to make an impact on the team. That doesn't mean they will, because look, if Lane and my lot are healthy the whole year, well, Markel Bell, we're not going to knock him for it, but he's not going to see much of the field. But it does feel like there's a good opportunity for each of the top 3 picks to have an impact on the team this year. I don't know how much they will, but it does feel like that opportunity is there.
Yeah, well, it depends. Makai's the one that you think would get pretty significant playing time.
He's got to be the 2, right, John? I mean, I know we're going to.
Oh, eventually. I don't think he has to be. I don't think he has to be week 1, but eventually, by mid-season, he's got.
I'm going to make the bold prediction that he's the number 2 week 1.
Well, it's possible. I mean, if he goes out but you got to earn it. They're going to make him earn it.
Yeah,
and the only reason I say is, Wicks has experience in this offense, and I'm sure Shawn Manion's more comfortable with him. And, he'll have the advantage when it comes to learning the terminology and all that stuff. So, it is a rookie. It might take a while, but ultimately his talent will certainly take over. So I wouldn't panic if he doesn't have it by week 1. But yeah, if he picks it up, either way, he's got, Dontavian Wicks can't be your 2 for the whole season. Well, he can be literally, but you wouldn't want it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, good stuff, Johnny Mac. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see kind of how it all shakes out. What's next now for the Birds? So you had rookie mini camp. Is there anything coming up outside of OTAs that will commence, I guess, toward the end of May?
Yeah, the OTAs are. I think the first one is May 27th, somewhere in that range. Typically, we get some veteran players here and there. I know we're not getting anybody this week. We'll see if we get anybody moving forward, because they're down there every day for 9 weeks, basically. Now it's voluntary. Guys can check in, check out. More for the veteran players, obviously. Maybe they're there for a couple of days. Maybe they have to do something. Eagles generally get good attendance, but we're not going to obviously see it from day to day. Yeah, May 26th, 27th, 29th is the first cluster of OTAs. June 1st, 2nd, and 4th is the second cluster, and then mandatory minicamp is June 9th and June 10th. So that's your off-season work for your Philadelphia Eagles.
What's it look like post June 20th? That's when I gotta get. I got the big wedding on June 20th, John. I gotta. What's it look like?
That's the dead period, so that's a good time.
Well, that was kind of part of the reason that it fell there for very specific reason, John.
I mean, as dead as the NFL gets, that's guys. Yeah, that's vacation time for guys. After minicamp to basically mid-July. Is the one, and that's where everybody, goes and takes vacations, and coaches spend times with their families and yada yada. That's the one dead period.
Yeah,
not for us, but
no, not for us. But yeah, at least it's the time of the off season. Not much is going on there, so that'll be the speculation. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of lists coming out.
Oh, list season, baby.
To deal with, John.
How is Justin Herbert ahead of Jalen Hurts? He hasn't won a Super Bowl. This season. Coming to you.
We have to do that every year. That's a royal pain in the ass. I'm turning into you earlier than I anticipated, my friend. Why am I dreading that already coming up this offseason? We will see how it all shakes out. All right, guys, we got about 7-8 minutes left on the show today. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's good to be back in the saddle. I'm shaking off a little rust, boys. I'm shaking off some rust out here. So good to be back, though. We were talking about racing earlier, John. I forgot that. Yeah, look, maybe I'll take the crown as the racer. This was This was my prize for winning the head-to-head at the racetrack with all me and all my cousins and my brother this weekend.
Nice.
We did head-to-head at the racing track. They left
You
me
won?
with a cone. I'm like, thanks
maybe
for
you're
I'll put it in the backdrop on my shows.
Well, you got what like 80 speeding tickets going down Broad Street, so maybe you are.
That was the royal pin. They were not, it's a racket. It's a racket.
I know it's a racket.
You're going 34 miles an hour. People are blowing by you on Broad Street, and you're still getting tickets in the mail. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, that is. Boy, I'd look into that. Did all those people get tickets? Man,
I'm sure they do. It's all.
And yet this city still has problems.
I get emails every day. They've added me to their email list. All the people that are fighting back on the inconsistencies of camera ticketing and the rights violations and all sorts of different things.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'll fight with you there. Those things are bullshit.
Yeah, it's BS, but it is what it is. So, all right, good stuff. J Mac, got 6 minutes here left to go on the show. It is good to see the rookies out there, but overall, pretty good haul. I'm excited to see kind of what comes next here with this Eagles team, and obviously the A.J. Brown thing is still looming. And
A.J.'s back.
Yeah,
A.J. is back.
A.J.'s my question on A.J.
No, I'm talking about Alexander James.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Brown.
My question on A.J. Brown, Eagles A.J. Brown, is I think we've pigeonholed too much into New England, John. Not that he's going to be back. He's not. He's going to be gone. I think we've pigeonholed too much on New England. Like, now maybe the deal, maybe it is a case, John, like the deal's already done. I don't know if it is or not, but I don't think Howie's just gonna be like, oh yeah, deal with New England. Like he's looking for the best return here. He's gonna have to get a couple teams involved, I think, to be able to get that return. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's
you always you always talk about leverage. I mean, it's better to have leverage. So if you get two teams involved, that's the whole point. That's why you try to create it. It's been the word around the league for a while that it's going to be New England. Doesn't mean it's right. Likely a future first round pick. Maybe it's, I can't say done, but maybe you just got to cross the T's and dot the I's. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me somewhere. Maybe some of that had to do with the Rabel Rossini stuff and all that bullshit. People are so hyper focused on it. But yeah, I mean, I would say this, AJ to New England would be my number one projection. AJ to somebody else would be number two, and AJ to Philadelphia would be number three.
What was two?
AJ to somebody else.
Oh, to somebody else. So anybody. Anybody. Could the Chiefs be an option? I swear I see them floated out. No, right? They're not doing that.
I haven't looked at the Chiefs and what they did. Let me see.
Well, what were the four teams AJ gave? There were the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Patriots, and who else? The Bills? No, I forget.
The Bills were on there.
Yeah. Well, that was the four.
I think the Rams were on there as well. There might have been. I don't know how many.
AJ Brown's four teams. Yeah, Patriots, Bills, Chiefs, and Chargers. Yeah, no, there was no.
Well, he seemed acceptable of the Rams, but
yeah, right.
Why wouldn't he be? Yeah, I know how much he likes and respects Matthew Stafford, but everybody does. Yeah, I mean, they could still use some help. They have the Chiefs, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, which is, I mean, Rice is a good player. I don't know if you can count on him. And then the other two guys can run. So they could use some help, Never say never. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs and I would think the Bills could still use some help because they're sort of betting on, I don't know if they're really, but they seem to be, hey, let's reboot things with Keon Coleman. I'm like, That means, they did. I think everybody shut down the Bills after they traded for DJ Moore. Well, it's like, I don't think that was a good trade. So now they have DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, who's
come on, DJ Moore is not it to be a one for a contending team. At least I don't think.
And I think Shakir is a good slot player, but I don't. And they have Josh Palmer, Keon Coleman, Scott. They drafted Skylar Bell. I think they could still use help. So you never know. But they at least have numbers at the position. I would say Kansas City doesn't even have numbers really past the top three.
Yeah. I just kind of got the sense of, or I forget where I saw someone say it. They were just like, why are we so focused on the Patriots? And I'm like, it's a good point. I don't see Howie as all right, unless the deal's already done. That's not to say the Patriots aren't interested. I'm just saying I don't think they would be the only team that the Eagles would be talking to,
Well, that's they weren't at first. I think it's whittled down to that. All I can tell you is that's certainly the belief around the league is he's going to the Patriots. Doesn't mean it's always right, but that's certainly the belief.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. We'll find out what happens with AJ. 28 days, everybody, from June 1st. It's the next countdown of the offseason in Philadelphia. It was the draft for a while. We've now concluded that, and now 28 days until June 1st, where we will find out what the fate of A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles is. So we will find that out. Johnny Mac, your final thoughts here on a Monday edition. It's good to be back in the chair talking with you, my friend, fresh off a rookie mini camp. Your final thoughts today.
Final thoughts, game one. Hyped up. Flyers playing too. We didn't give the Flyers any love. They lost game one to Carolina tonight, I believe. Am I getting that right? I don't want to screw
the Flyers?
That. Yeah.
Is it tonight?
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, tonight. Yeah, so both of them play tonight. That stinks. Yeah. They're both on the same schedule right now.
Yeah. So game two for them, they must win for them. Sixers game one at Madison Square Garden. That's always exciting. So Celebrity Row.
I don't know if you're in must-win territory for the Flyers yet. That'd be game three to me.
Well, but must win. Yeah, I mean, did I say must win? It's a 7-game series. Technically, you got to be down 3 before it's must win. But pretty pivotal game, I would say. Yeah, you don't want to go down. You want to try and steal one. So big game is what I should have said for the Flyers. All playoff games are big, though, even that. And then who knows? Maybe Michael Jordan. Maybe the Eagles make a splash with Michael Jordan.
Maybe they do, J-Mac. Maybe they do, my friend. All right, John, good show today, man. I will catch up with you tomorrow on a Tuesday edition of the show. Looking forward to it. Thank you, brother.
All right, see y'all. Thanks.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Johnny Mac. There's J-Mac here joining us. Follow him at JF McMullen. Read all his work at Sports Illustrated. Did a great job today on the show. Good to be back with all of you guys. I missed everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. All right. I had a good weekend. A lot of cool shit I did. I'll show you some of that today on Zander time. Not going to lie to you, pretty freaking tired after that weekend. You don't get much sleep, and then you're 3 hours back. So you fly home yesterday. It's a 5-hour flight. You lose the 3 hour. You're like, whoa. It messes you up a little bit, but all good. I'm happy to be back in the saddle, man. I am happy to be back in the saddle. I missed it. I missed doing my shows. I missed being on air. So it was good. It is good to be back. It's good to see everybody. Crowley, Mayan, what's up, man? Rico, Mart, Rasputin's in here. Brandon Howard, Steven D'Angelo, what's up, brother? Bird Gang Girl, how you doing? Brandon Howard, C-Sist, Daz Deals. What up, Daz? Good to see everybody. So I do appreciate all of you guys. I'm not sure what you guys made of what happened in Eagle Land the last couple of days. You just saw a little bit of the rookie mini camp, obviously, but look, I always like to ask you guys because fans have different takeaways than obviously a guy like McMullen, like Johnny Mac, who's a reporter of the team and got to be down there for it. But there's always some excitement, I think, when you get a chance to see the rookies wearing an Eagle jersey for the first time. I know reporters tend to not care because, oh, yeah, you don't see that much. You don't learn anything, and they don't care about people wearing Eagles jerseys. But we're Eagle fans. I mean, you're an Eagle fan. You like to see a new player come in. Mekhi Lemon goes from wearing USC colors to Eagle colors. Feels good. It's cool to see. At least it is for me. So I'm always interested in what you guys thought of everything. Darbatron, that's a good question. How was the track? Daz, it was sick. I'll talk about that in a second, dude. All right. It was freaking awesome. But we did something else that was actually way crazier, which I'll tell you guys about. I couldn't believe these things were even legal or existed, to be honest with you. Here's Brandon. What's up, Brandon? I'm feeling really optimistic. Didn't think I'd feel this good 2 months ago. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, man. I was out in Scottsdale, Arizona, Philly Dom. I was out in Scottsdale. Sis says, I love people who refuse to say Dak is good, diehard Eagle fan in the soul, but dude is clearly a good quarterback. Yeah, that's not hard to admit. I don't know why Eagles fans struggle with that. Dak is a very strong quarterback, but he also has deficiencies. I mean, if you don't come up in big moments, you're going to get criticized for it, and that's fair. Jalen, on the other hand, has come up very big in big moments. He deserves a lot of credit for that. So, J-Mac he could not. He could not at all. If the Sixers get out of the second round, well, that would be the first time in a while. Have they ever made it out of the second round in this era? No, right? That's never happened. So we'll see. Here's Rasputin. What's up, dude? I think the AJ thing was just him being nice to the kids and implicitly saying goodbye to the city. Only hype I heard around camp was Lemon, and I'm buying. I agree. That was AJ saying, hey, people write stuff, but I love all you guys, especially my young fans and the people who support me, and don't ever get it twisted, that I have love for all of you guys. So I think that's what it was, Rasputin. I'm fine with that. I like AJ. I'm not going to be one of the people that when AJ's gone that I hold hate in my heart. Look, do I think he handled everything good? No. Do I think he, it was wrong in his handling of some of the narratives and even the way I think he kind of put the spotlight on Jalen Hurts? Yeah, I do. I think it was wrong. But am I going to hate him or have disdain in my heart toward him or hold a grudge against him? Hell no. Hell no. This team sucked before he showed up, dude, in terms of having great receiver talent. So he showed up and Eagles go on historic runs. In the 4 years AJ was here, you go to 2 Super Bowls, you win 1. I mean, come on. Come on. I watched that dude play an Eagle, an Eagle Green, make some plays that I maybe never thought I'd see in Eagle Green. He had 2 touchdowns in multiple different Super Bowls. He was a huge part of this team, a huge contributor for this team, and I like AJ. I've always liked AJ. I mean, again, that doesn't mean he's perfect. I like all of you. It doesn't mean you don't piss me off at times, including you, Big Mike. So it is what it is. I'm sure some of you guys might like me or maybe don't like me. That's fine too. But I'm sure I piss you off too. So, or if you don't like me, maybe I say something you agree with every once in a while. So I got respect for AJ for sure. And it's not T.O. Come on, Daz. AJ did a lot more for Eagle fans than T.O. did. So I'm not going to hold any negative ill will toward A.J. Brown. I think he's a hell of a football player. I think he did a lot for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he did a lot for Jalen Hurts. I think he did a lot for the Eagles organization. I think he did a lot for the fan base. I think he did a lot for everybody. So it is what it is. Here's A. Gaddy. What's up, man? Look, guys, we got what we needed out of A.J. I wish we kept him happy, but trading him right now is the best thing. We will still get value for him while implementing a new system. I agree. I think that's very fair. I do think as much as I like A.J. Brown and what he's done, I do think this has become the clear time to do this. It's objectively. Unfortunately, it just seems the relationship has ceased to a certain extent, and going your separate ways is probably the best thing to do. That doesn't mean, folks, just because it's the best thing to do, doesn't mean that it's going to improve your team. So I do think there's a false narrative that exists right now of fans who are like, well, it's time for AJ to go. So that means we're actually going to be better for moving on from him. And that to me is not the right way to look at it. You know, you don't get rid of a player like AJ Brown and you're like, yeah, addition by subtraction. No, stop. You know, if he was wide receiver 3 bitching, yeah, sure, addition by subtraction. When you're a player like AJ Brown and you command defenses to slant their entire coverage to your side of the field, when you force a safety over the top to watch you every single play, when you force guys like Steve Spagnuolo and Brian Flores to change their entire game plan to take away your area of the field, you have a bigger impact on the game than just receiving the ball every 3 or 4 plays, whatever it is. So I don't think I do dispute that thought process, that addition by subtraction with AJ. I think AJ's too good for that. AJ's too good for that. I don't think it's addition by subtraction. That doesn't mean I don't think they can overcome it or they can be as good of a team or even a better team without him. That's not my point. But it's not simply going to be boiled down to AJ going means we're going to get better. No, that can't be it. Not at least not for me. I will always love AJ to run its course. I agree, Steven. I think that's a good perspective, dude. C-Sis says, remember when AJ sat out against the Bucs for a smaller injury? T.O. played with a broken freaking leg. Good point. Good point. You never know what's at play with those, so it's tough to gauge. But Big Mike says, the only issue I have with AJ is man up and say what his problem with wanting out of town. Big Mike, I agree in a vacuum. Like I'd always prefer somebody who means what they says and says what they mean. But, it's not that simple, Big Mike. Like, for example, you got trade market. You have, an entire franchise. You have a GM and an owner that you want to keep happy or you want to at least appease to some extent. I mean, think about it, Big Mike. If he just comes out and says what's on his mind with no regard for the consequences of those comments, then it might mean that AJ's truthful and you might respect him for that. But it also might mean that the Eagles don't get the type of return they want. A team might not want to give up what they might for A.J. Brown right now. The Eagles might be unwilling to send him to where he wants to go, which means a different return, a different looking trade. So I just think there's a lot of variables there. And I agree with your point, again, in a vacuum, like you're a grown-ass man. Say what, your word is your bond. Say it. If you got something to say it. But unfortunately, this isn't, a world that's free from all the other variables of a team game and things of that nature. So, Darlene says AJ doesn't want the role of the distractor. He wants the ball. I agree. And that's okay. He's entitled to that, but Vulnerable, what's up, man? Good to see you too, brother. I had a great trip. Thanks for checking in. Z, if he says that it wouldn't let the media speculate for months. Yeah, but Big Mike, I know enough about the Eagles organization and specifically the PR staff. It's not that simple with them, dude. It's really not. So again, I'm not saying Big Mike that he did it all right. I'm not saying that at all, but I just don't know what he did for him and for what reason. A lot of shit goes into it. Would it help anyone if he said, I want a legacy and I don't think Jalen can get me one? That benefits nobody. I agree, Rasputin. I agree. So this weekend I went golfing, which was great in Arizona. Really cool golf experience. I actually shot pretty well for not having golfed in almost 2 years. I haven't golfed in like 2 years. I've been so busy with work. I didn't get a chance to do it last summer, when it was warm at all. It's been 2 years since I played a round of 18. I actually golfed pretty good. I shot under 100, and I was pretty happy with that. For 2 years off, I was pretty happy with that. Like a 96, I think I came in, 96 or 97. I came in at maybe a 97, but maybe a couple miles, maybe a little a gimme on a putt or two, maybe got me down, but I definitely shot under 100, which was good. So, and then we went to the track. The track was sick. All right, the track was sick. We drove Hellcats. You can see I got my hat. Radford Racing School, it says. Got the Dodge SRT there. That was unreal, dude. That was unreal. I was very solid at it. My first time ever doing something like that. I love cars, but I've never had a chance to go to a track and drive or anything like that. So that was really dope. And I won the head-to-head. I told you guys they gave me this little cone for winning the head-to-head because I had the best time of anybody, and I won all the head-to-head battles. But I don't get it. So RRS is Radford Racing School. And then it gave me this. It says Cone Killer Award. And I'm like, well, I didn't hit any cones. You're making it sound like I crushed cones. You don't want to hit the cones. You got to stay inside the cones in an autocross. So I don't know. I like the cone though. All right. I like the cone for the backdrop. All right. How's that? There you go. There's my cone for the backdrop. So yeah, I was shredding it. I was shredding it around the track. And then the other thing we did was we did these. They're not really ATVs. We did these. I don't know if they're UTVs, but there are these Can-Ams. They're 1,000 cc. So anybody who knows anything about off-road vehicles, 1,000 cc is like top of the line. Like I couldn't believe they rented us these things. I mean, it was fucking crazy because we first called some places, and a bunch of these places allow you to rent like quads or ATVs out in Arizona, but they're all guided tours, right? And we were like, dude, I do not want a guided tour where some schmuck is driving 23 miles an hour in front of me, and I'm looking at the scorpions in the Mojave Desert. I don't give a shit, you know? So we wanted to rip. So we found this kind of like smaller, off the cuff, like rental company. The liability on it was fucking crazy. But and it's funny, we show up to the place, it's this little shack. You drive like deep into the desert. Arizona is a crazy place, by the way. Like crazy place. I've never been to Arizona. It's a crazy place. I mean, it's a straight desert. But we're driving deep into the desert, 30 minutes outside Phoenix or Scottsdale, wherever the hell I was. And we get to this little tiny shack, literally, and you're driving. It's to the, you know what it reminded me of? Have any of you guys ever seen Breaking Bad? Have any of you guys ever seen Breaking Bad? You know when they go out to the damn desert and they're driving and there's just sand in the air because it's so sandy and dusty and everything. That's what it reminded me of. So we're on this off the beaten path type of thing. And we show up this little shack. And there's these damn ATVs out there. I'll find the pictures of them. Let me see if I can show. I don't know how much it'll show this, but here's the ATVs. These husky ass. I don't know why it's not locking in. I got to pull them up, but they're 2-seaters, and we get in these things, and it's like you sign the liability waivers. The real quick when we get there, I'm a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not scared, but I got nervous because we get there, and there's a 4-seater out front of the little shack, and you could tell it just rolled up. It got beat up. It was fucked up. And these are brand new. They're brand new. 2026s with 200 miles on them. There's a 4-seater rolled up. And I'm talking to the dude in the place. He's a younger guy, you know, managing the shack and everybody checking in. And he's like, I'm like, yo, what happened to the 4-seater out there? He's like, oh yeah, our rental yesterday. You know, the guys were out there ripping. They were drinking and driving, which you're not allowed to do, obviously. And they rolled it. It rolled 7 times. One dude left with a broken arm. You know, he got an ambulance took him, and the other dude had a horrible concussion. And I'm like, oh, great. Just what I want to hear before I embark on an ATV, UTV, whatever the hell it's called, side by side. I don't know what you want to call them. And 1,000 cc. It's like almost 250 horsepower. But anyway, so we go out. I had my meta glasses on, so I took a bunch of videos of them. Look, here it is. Look at that thing, dude. Look at that fucking thing. 2-seater, Can-Am, brand new. There's the motor. The suspension systems on these things were just insane. Insane. Yeah, Twiz. I know you're kind of in this. Like you have one yourself. So yeah, they were Can-Ams, 1000cc, and we're ripping out in the desert. We got 4 hours with these things. So it was me and my brother in one car, my 2 cousins in the other, and the other 2. I mean, it was fucking crazy. We're going 70 miles an hour in these things, ripping through the desert. I'm like, this is nuts. First off, I couldn't believe the capability of the machines, right? Like, I was like, I mean, we have like this big rock and like thing just boom, climbs it immediately. You got these huge like holes or like, terrain that's up and down. Boom, just goes right over it. No, nothing happens. It just handles it perfectly. Now you got to understand how to drive it and everything. And I got the feel for that pretty quickly, but I'm just like, damn, the capability of these things is unbelievable how capable they are in all different terrains. So that was wild. And then the speed, I mean, the capability also just in terms of the speed was fucking nuts. I hit 78 miles an hour. I'm like, bro, I'm done with that. I don't need to go 78 miles an hour to have fun on these things. I don't need that. No way. All right. I roll going 78. I might not be on the show Monday morning. So I had to be careful, but that was nuts, man. They were nuts. We got done. I took my hand, just went like this. I had 2 inches thick of just dust and mud on my face from it kicking up. So they were wild, dude. They were wild. So those were the 3 activities I did. I golfed, I did the racetrack, and I did the UTV, ATV experience out in the desert. So that was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. It was nuts though. It was definitely nuts. There's no doubt about it. It was nuts. I couldn't believe they let us rent the thing. That was my third takeaway. I'm like, how do they let people come in here for a couple $100 and take this thing for 4 hours? Boy, their insurance claims must be nuts. And then I was talking to the dude after, and he's like, yeah, so what the owner does is he buys them brand new, keeps them for 3 months. They put about 1,000 to 1,500 miles on them as rentals. They sell them, and then they buy new ones. I'm like, damn. Dude's barely got – he probably loans them, obviously. But he has 1 or 2 payments before he turns them over, rents them out for 3 months, takes the hit on the depreciation. It's probably like 10 grand. He told me they sold them for like 35 grand. They buy them for like 45 grand. I'm like, nuts. So, yeah, then we went out in Scottsdale a couple nights. I was still recovering from that, boys. Yeah, Sue, that's right. You're in Utah, right? Yeah. Sue, my cousin lives in Utah right now. Are you in Utah or are you Colorado? No, you're Utah, right, Sue? Thought I remember you being in Utah. Yeah, that's where my cousin lives out there. So he knows they're huge out there too. Yeah, I was in Arizona, Sue. So it's pretty cool. Arizona, I was right outside Scottsdale. Pretty wild experience though. I'm still recovering. Oh, Gary, I'm not a drinker like that anymore either, dude. I'm not. So yeah, guy, I'm like, all right, dude, I'm fucking spent. I'm spent. So, but all right, guys, I love all you guys. I appreciate you all doing it today. Thought we had a good show back. Like I said, shaking off a little bit of the rust, not doing shows for a couple days. That was the first time, guys, in I think 6 years that I didn't take out my computer. I took it out, but I didn't open it on Saturday or really Friday afternoon. So that was the first time I've done that. Let me tell you, I don't like doing that. That's not my favorite thing to do. I like to know where my business is. I like to know what's going on. I did not like that, but you know what they say, you're building a business. You better build it so that if you leave, it's not hell bent on you being there. So I guess that was an exercise in that for the first time. So that was interesting, but I love all you guys. Thanks for doing it today. I got to run. I got to get some stuff done now. It's Monday. I'm back in the saddle. I'm like 6 or 7 weeks out from my wedding. So I got to get some shit done. But all right. I appreciate all you guys doing it. Hit that like button and I will catch you next time, everybody. Thank you.
Eagles. Eagles.